Although a number of bombs have been sent to prominent political Democratic figures and liberals, including George Soros, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the House Republican Campaign Committee has decided that it was a good idea to release a new ad invoking radical George Soros. Again, we learned about the bomb that was sent to his home in New York yesterday. But nonetheless, they have decided to put out these ads. Let's take a look at the first one, video 14.
I owe nothing to any leader, any corporation.
What a joke. Look at who finances Dan Feehan's employer. Radical George Soros, Wall Street's biggest banks, a crooked lobbyist tied to Pelosi. They pay Feehan's bills and fund his campaign because Feehan's a Pelosi liberal, supports tax hikes, more debt, amnesty, even government-controlled health care.
I owe nothing.
Nonsense. Liberals own Feehan. He'll never be for you. NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
They sent that and ran that ad full well knowing that Soros's house had already received a bomb. They acknowledged that, and he said the National Republican Campaign Committee spokesperson said attempted violence against Mr. Soros or anyone else is repugnant, and we condemn it in the strongest possible terms. But this ad is entirely factual and is in no way a personal attack. You called him you said radical George Soros has bought this guy and he's gonna work for him. But in no way is it an attack against George Soros. So we condemn, wink, the violence against George Soros, but if you'd like to send another bomb to the radical, who, well, have at it, Hoss. But us, did we do it? That is unreal that they ran that ad after the bomb.
Well, they ran 2 ads after the bomb. Let's take a look at the second one.
Prima donna athletes protesting our anthem. Left-wing mobs paid to riot in the streets. Billionaire George Soros bankrolls the resistance. And Dan Feehan. Feehan's employed by a Soros-funded liberal outfit in DC. His campaign propped up by out-of-state super PACs backed by Soros's millions. So when you see Feehan pushing government-run health care, higher taxes, amnesty, just remember, the left owns Feehan. He'll never be for you. NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
So my mistake, that was actually an ad that they released last week.
Oh, well, maybe that makes sense because in that ad, it shows a left-winger throwing a bomb and saying it's Soros's fault. And then the next week, Soros receives a bomb back. And then, not totally unrepentant, they run another ad saying, yeah, it's radical George Soros. Good job, radical George Soros, go get him, go get him. Look at that, they had an ad in they had a thing in the ad showing left-wingers, so-called mobs, throwing bombs. Did a left-winger ever throw a bomb in any of the protests? No, never. The worst that it got was Antifa, by the way, that is short for anti-fascist, threw a water bottle at a Proud Boy in New York when 2 knuckleheads sides started fighting, having nothing to do with politicians and nothing to do with Democrats. A water bottle, okay? Now the other side throws bombs, and then they blame the left wing for violence, and they specifically target George Soros before and after the bomb. They're unreal. Okay, I got one more. So Brad Pascal, who is running the non-existent Trump 2020 campaign, he'll never make it there in my opinion, but anyway, they're collecting hundreds of millions of dollars. Now get a load of that irony, by the way. Evil George Soros is financing Feehan. How about the $100 million you guys collected already for a campaign that doesn't even exist and is 2 years away, right? From all those donors. Okay, so Pascal sent out a fundraising email targeting CNN after the bombings.
After the bombing?
Yeah, hold on, there is a caveat there, an important caveat. But listen to what the email said. It's time for us to give the media another wake-up call from the American people. Now, he comes out and says, well, look, my bad, my mistake. That was set on auto send, okay? It was a pre-programmed automated message. So first of all, at a bare minimum, you didn't think, hey, a bomb went off in CNN. Oh, right, we had an email going out saying how you should pretty much attack CNN. Maybe I should make sure that that email doesn't go out, right? No, you're the campaign manager of a campaign that doesn't even exist. You don't have anything to do all day except pleasure donors. So, and send out these horrible, hideous emails. So you got one saying, we'll do a wake-up call on CNN. You saw they got a bomb. You didn't stop the email. Now he comes out and he says, it was pre-programmed automated message, and quote, they don't condone violence against CNN or anyone, except for when your president was saying, while CNN was in the building and pointing at CNN, saying, I love politicians who body slam and violently assault reporters. And then, of course, there was look, I didn't think the WWE thing was a big deal where he clotheslines the CNN thing, okay? But in the context of everything else, now I think maybe he did encourage people, right? And constantly talking about how the press is the enemy of the people. And then his campaign manager has the gall to say, we don't condone violence against CNN or anyone. And what do you mean, anyone? Trump says at almost every rally, assault someone and I'll pay your legal bills.
He specifically points out the media covering his rally in the back and antagonizes them. And that's what his voters love. That's what they expect at his rallies. He does it every single time. One other thing that I wanted to point to, just to show you how effective repeated speech like this is in influencing people to act a certain way. Remember, he's the president of the United States. So people do take him seriously. And if he advocates for things and if he thinks certain things are okay, others are gonna think, well, the leader of the country thinks this is okay, so why can't I do it? So let me give you an example not related to these bombs. It's a story that we didn't get a chance to do yesterday because we ran out of time. There was a man who got arrested in a Southwest flight, and he was groping a female passenger while she was sleeping. And so she immediately went to a flight attendant. As soon as they landed, he got arrested. And he reportedly told the cops that, well, the president says it's okay to grab women by the genitals, so why can't I do that?
Do you think that everyone that goes to Trump's rallies and listens to him and believes him has a really high IQ? To think that would indicate that you don't have a very high IQ. So even if it's any politician, Obama, Pelosi, Schumer, Cruz, Trump, it doesn't matter. There's a certain percentage of people who are very low IQ and that are their supporters. And if you tell them to do something, they might actually do it. They might not think you're joking or that, hey, he's hypothetically telling me to assault reporters. He's hypothetically telling me that George Soros is super evil and radical and then we should do something about it, right? No, a lot of them will believe you. And among Trump supporters, I would argue that he has a much higher percentage of low IQ people who have weapons and are prone to violence. And for Trump to irresponsibly, aggressively, and over and over again, repeatedly, to say violence, violence, violence is the answer. Carry him out on stretchers, hit him, I'll pay you. Assault the reporters and then point to CNN, okay? And one of the guys at the rally, many of them were yelling at Jim Acosta, et cetera. One of them did I'm gonna slit your throat action. Now, Trump didn't necessarily see that, but it was in the news the next day. So Trump could come out on any one of those days, could do a press conference. He loves to talk to the press, right? He could do an interview and say, hey, listen guys, I'm kidding around. Don't actually assault a reporter. I mean, that would be the bare minimum he could do, right? And I saw that, or somebody told me about the cutting the throat sign. That's terrible. That's totally unacceptable. Look, I love my supporters, but I don't want you to get carried away. Never, ever, ever should you do violence. He never says that. He never says that. So today, with the most disingenuous, oh, by the way, and it's in a prompter, I am told that I'm supposed to say we do not condone violence. That's funny. I condone it every day. Anyway, and I am for unity. I'm not for unity. I'm for killing kicking the other side's ass and bashing them and smashing them and assaulting them.
Give him a couple days.
Much
like any other controversy where he starts off by being careful, he starts off by reading the script and he follows the orders of his aides. He later goes off script, speaks off the cuff, and says some of the most hideous things you could ever imagine. Like one example is just what happened with the Kavanaugh hearings, right? I mean, he started off by being, and we gave him credit for that. He started off by being careful. He appeared to be respectful toward Dr. Blasey Ford. And then later, boom, he goes off script, starts mocking her, makes fun of her at a rally and has everyone there laughing at her.
Just a matter of time. So that's right. He read from a prompter, carefully written script, because they know the idiot can't go off script because he'll say something monstrous, and does not have the intelligence to be able to put together 2 sentences actually condemning the violence, and doesn't have it in his heart. So just a matter of time before you're right. He'll say, well, there's bombers on all sides. There's good people on all sides. There's bombers on all sides. It's really the left wing's fault. And by the way, remember, he's the conspiracy theorist in chief. He's the one who started the Barack Obama birther conspiracy. He believes in like nonstop conspiracies. He went on Alex Jones' show, said it was a fantastic show. His son, Don Jr., constantly tweets about conspiracies. So do you think it's gonna take long for him to join Rush Limbaugh, Fox News hosts, and Twitter guys that are today talking about, oh yeah, it's a false flag operation? Don Jr. probably is gonna take about a day to do it. Donald Trump Sr. will probably take 2 days before they join the false flag operation conspiracy theory, right? And then blame the left for getting bombed. Get a load of that. They will blame the left. They're doing it right now. They will blame the left for potentially getting murdered. Amazing. So wait for it from Trump, but it has already begun from all of his supporters. On the go? Don't worry, we got you covered. You can still listen to TYT at our new podcast network. Find us on Apple Podcasts, the Google Play Store, or at tyt.com/podcast.